Welcome, brave souls, to a realm where shadows dance with the unknown and whispers pierce the silence of the night. Prepare to delve into the depths of fear as we journey together through the chilling corridors of the human psyche. In this sinister tale that awaits, be ready to confront the darkness that lurks just beyond the edge of your imagination. So, let's begin today's story.
I had an old TV in my room, the kind that you had to pull the knob to turn on and turn the dial to change the channel. I vividly remember being pissed off. It didn't scare me, because as I would be in my room playing or going to sleep several times, the TV would come on and start changing channels. Click, and since my family couldn't afford cable, it was just loud static. I remember this happening all the time, sometimes directly after I had turned it off, other times when I hadn't touched it all day. This was very annoying to a 5 to 6 year old me. In the same house my mom, my sister, and myself, would be eating dinner when a cabinet door would open or a bedroom door would slam. Sometimes things would be thrown across the room. I can't logically explain these things, and being I wasn't the only one seeing this, I could pretty much rule out hallucinations. Also, in the same house, I remember we had an old washer and dryer, also with the dials you had to physically turn and pull to start, and I can remember being pissed to being woken up to the annoying sound of the knob turning and then pop and the washer starting. We only lived in that house for a little over a year or so, but I find it funny that my first experiences with ghosts or paranormal never scared me but annoyed me. My family moved a lot growing up, but none of us have forgotten that house. I have had experiences since then, rarely and nothing like that house, but nothing that compares to what I am about to tell you. A few years ago, I was a little down on my luck, been laid off, fallen into debt, broke up with my girlfriend at the time, bad times. My mother suggested that I could move into my aunt's house to save some money, as my aunt had started dating a man who lived in Canada. My aunt was gone for a month or two at a time and would come home for a month. This seemed like a great idea, so I agreed. I discussed it with my aunt and moved in while my aunt was in Canada. Everything seemed fine for the first few days, then strange things started happening. Little things like things would fall over or move on their own. I didn't think much of it, as it didn't bother me much. Another strange thing was I would find bobby pins in random locations even after I had just cleaned and knew there were no bobby pins there. This went on for a week or so, no big deal. One night I had settled into bed getting ready to go to sleep, and I had just gotten comfortable laying on my side, on one side of a queen-sized bed, when I felt the center of the bed sink just like someone had gotten into bed with me. I dismissed this as my imagination until moments later I felt a woman's hand from behind me go across my side into my chest. I froze in terror. At this moment I am trying to rationalize how someone had been in the house the whole time without my knowledge, and even into bed with me without making a sound. Just then the hand I can only describe as dissipated. It didn't lift, didn't slide away, it just disappeared. I turned around and nothing was there. I got up, turned all the lights on and checked every nook and cranny. Nothing, checks the doors, and everything was locked up tight. I grabbed my pillow and blanket and went to the couch, which by the way I slept for at least 2 weeks afterwards. The next morning I decided to contact my aunt to see if she had ever experienced anything like this in her home, and told her all about everything that had been happening. She says she has never experienced anything but did find the bobby pins interesting, and explained that while she was in Canada, she had been losing bobby pins. She didn't believe me at all. My mother thought I was losing my mind until one day we had left to go eat lunch together, and when we returned, she found 3 bobby pins that she knew hadn't been there before, laying on the cabinet next to her keys. Now she was a believer. My aunt returned from Canada a few weeks later. My aunt comes home and pokes fun at me about the ghost until one night, while talking to me from sitting on her bed in her bedroom, she screams. I said, "What happened?" She says, "I was sitting on the bed with my feet on the floor when something grabbed my ankle." I thought, very funny, but I could tell that she was done making fun of me. Now I think this is a good time to give you some history on my aunt's relationship with her new boyfriend. My aunt had just divorced my uncle and met this man online through a game they played. He had recently, a year or so before, lost his wife to cancer. They started talking and were good for each other, and their relationship progressed. Now back to my story. I had recently started dating someone and had them stay with me at the house one night, and she had a similar experience, only she had woken up in bed with me in the middle of the night to see a woman standing in the corner of the room then disappear. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not crazy. And this isn't some hereditary mental health deal, as I hadn't told her anything about her ghost. At this point, I fill her in on all of the backstory and tell my aunt of her experience. We are all thoroughly convinced this is real. One morning a week or so later, I meet my aunt in the kitchen making her morning coffee, and she starts telling me how she had had a rough night and a crazy dream. She explained to me that in her dream she was sitting in a chair by a table with a digital clock on it. Behind her was her now boyfriend's deceased wife, telling her things in a hurried manner about her family and his, my aunt's boyfriends, adult children, all while trying to get my aunt to set the time on this clock to a specific time. My aunt says that she keeps passing the number every time and has to go back around. She is supposed to set the time on the clock to 1:17 a.m. I asked her if she thought it meant anything, and she said she didn't know. My aunt called her boyfriend and asked him if the time 1:17 a.m. was anything special to him. It was. It was the exact time his wife died. My aunt had no way of knowing this and didn't mention the ghost or the dream to him. Neither one of us brought it up again after that, but we both knew immediately who our ghost was, and we both agreed that we shouldn't tell him because it would only cause him to worry that his wife hadn't crossed over and might be stuck. Shortly after all this, all the activity stopped. To this day, though, there is no logical explanation other than the spirit of his wife was looking after him from beyond the grave, and every experience immediately made sense. She tried to scare me away, not knowing that I was my aunt's nephew. She touched my aunt to reveal her presence. She revealed herself to my girlfriend as a way to validate everything, and then communicated directly with my aunt through a dream. After all this, I cannot possibly deny the existence of the paranormal. That's its folks remember that the echoes of fear often linger long after the tale has been told. As you retreat back to the safety of your reality, tread cautiously, for you never know what horrors may lie just beneath the surface of the mundane. Until we meet again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.